Breaking news. Jeanine Pirro, yes, Judge Jeanine Pirro has officially been approved as the new Attorney General for Washington D.C. But here's the catch, folks. She hasn't practiced law in over 20 years, has a long history of unhinged TV rants, folks, especially on Fox, which actually called her crazy, and once called too extreme. Even Fox News had to kick her away. Ladies and gentlemen, John here. Thank you for tuning in and welcome back once again to This World My Take, where the headlines meet real talk. How you guys doing, folks? I hope you're having a good week so far. Folks, before we do get started talking about Miss Jeanine's approval, I want you to please consider supporting the platform. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like, and turn on your notification so that whenever I do drop something, you get notified. I appreciate you and God bless you, folks. Now, let's not talk too much. Let's get into the reason why we are here today. Now, who is Jeanine Pirro? Now, I know some of you might not have known who this lady is, but let me break it down for you. For those who don't know, Jeanine Pirro is a former judge, a prosecutor, and a longtime Donald Trump ass kisser, aka loyalist. She made her name in the 90s as a tough-talking district attorney in New York. But more recently, folks, she's known for her fiery, often conspiracy theories spewing on TV. Especially, she was a Fox News host. It got so crazy to a point where even Fox, her employer, called her crazy for some of the conspiracy theories that she was spewing all over on the TV media, and sometimes it's just sickening. Folks, despite her legal background, Pirro hasn't practiced law for over 2 decades. I want that to sink in, folks. The American people are being sidelined while they keep putting these Trump loyalists, people that are incompetent in everything. Like, you would take somebody and put somebody like Jeanine Pirro. Why are you putting her to a position when she has not practiced for 2 decades? That is like asking someone who hasn't driven a car since 2000s to suddenly drive a semi-truck through the rush hour in Washington, D.C., folks. This is crazy. But you know who is in the White House, folks? They say when you put a clown in the palace, you gotta expect, you guys know the rest of it, man. A shit show in this case. Now, why does this matter, folks? It's not just about, some people might say, but John, don't you think that with her background, she can still practice once a prosecutor, always a prosecutor? Folks, 20 years is a long period of time for somebody to be out of work. Heck, 5 or 10 years is a long period of time for somebody who does law to be out of work, because there's so many things that change, so many laws are amended, so many different things change within 10 years. Talk less of 20 years. Now, this isn't just an honorary position, folks. The D.C. Attorney General has enormous power. Now, let me tell you some of these powers. They oversee legal matters in the Capitol. They prosecute civil cases. They advise the city on legal issues. They can influence criminal justice policies. It's crazy. And they play a huge role in public safety decision. Now, I want you to think about just Jeanine Pirro once again. Somebody, the same Jeanine Pirro we saw on Fox News spewing all sorts of conspiracy theory.
What you've got is a weaponized Department of Justice, Department of FBI, and CIA. We saw it from the time he came down that escalator. And you've got a politicized attorney general, a judge who is biased, trying to take down someone they consider their enemy. That search warrant and the subsequent execution of that warrant was nothing more than a subterfuge, a fishing expedition to get whatever they can against this man. There is a cleansing needed in our FBI and Department of Justice. It needs to be cleansed of individuals who should not just be fired, but who need to be taken out in handcuffs.
Do you think that she is apt not just by her qualification, but for her age. And she's been out of touch with practicing for so long. I, for one, I do not think that this is normal. Why are we allowing the Republican Party to do this mess? The system is broken, folks. I would say this: given that role to someone like Jeanine Pirro, it's out of this world, man. We are living in a twilight zone. It's like we think differently. It's crazy. Somebody who's been out of the courtroom for almost 2 decades, folks. And then you put her in that position, not because she deserves it, because I do know that there are so many Americans who are well qualified. But this is because we all know she is a Trump loyalist. And this raises major red flags because her legal license may be valid, but is she qualified though? This is really crazy, especially in a political complex city in just like Washington D.C. It's crazy to put this lady here, but this is where the Trump factor always kicks in, and we can all see it. Because if you've been watching this shit show since January, since Trump came into the White House for his second term, you understand that it's all about Trump factor. If you've been kissing ass to Donald J. Trump, he gives you a position. If you donate amount of money to him and the MAGA incorporation, he gives you a converter position. And this, no doubt, it is the Trump factor. Now, let's not ignore the elephant in the room, folks. This case, the MAGA hat in the room, Jeanine has been one of Donald Trump's most aggressive defenders on Fox News. Even when other conservatives distance themselves, she's backed his baseless action, his baseless conspiracy theories, and she's railed against investigation against this man. Investigations that were meant to hold this man responsible, accountable for his conduct. He's demonized the political system on national TV. This is all crazy. Now let me say this. Now she is in charge of enforcing the law in a city that's epicenter of the investigations into Trump's inner circle. The conflict of interest, you decide. I'm not gonna, what we do now, what I'm trying to do now is just throw it out for you to decide. I want to provoke you to think. Even Fox said this is too far. It's crazy. It's worth noting that even Fox suspended Pirro in 2019 for what? For attacking a Muslim congresswoman. You remember that? And making inflammatory comments. She's being called unhinged. She's been called reckless. She's been called... it's crazy, folks. It's crazy. And this is not by, some left-wing critics, or it's by her own employer. Think about it. So how did she pass vetting for one of the top legal roles in the country's capital? Folks, there are people who are helping Trump to do all of these things, to put all of these incompetent people in position. Red flags in her approvals. Let me just let you know, the lack of recent legal experience, that's a huge red flag. She hasn't tried a case or handled any legal policy in decades. That's the first red flag. The second red flag is her political loyalty over objectivity. It's crazy. Her deep Trump ties, like it risks just making her in this position. Is crazy because we know what she's going to do. If she's been supporting Trump on TV, like going crazy over conspiracy theory, think about what she's going to do now that she is in office. The third red flag to this whole thing is the public credibility. How can the public trust an AG who's pushed conspiracy theories all over the place and shouted critics down? How would you trust that? How do you expect the people of Washington, D.C. to actually trust this woman? And then the last red flags I can think about is the president, folks. Let me say this. Approving someone like Pirro sets a dangerous standard. And we all know that this is all because Donald Trump wants somebody that when he says, do this, they do it without even asking a question. We are now in a shit show state. I will tell you that, because when you start putting these incompetent people, This is what happens. Everything goes down. What this means for DC and beyond, ladies and gentlemen, the residents of DC deserve an agent that is actually competent, impartial, not a Trump loyalist, somebody that is focused on justice, not conspiracy theories, somebody that has a good head on and they understand the legal things that they've not practiced for the past 20 years. Now, what happens when ideology trumps qualification? Folks, the law it serves becomes a tool not for justice, but for power. I will end this vlog by asking you folks, so what do you think? Does Jeanine Pirro deserve this role? I want you to leave a comment down in the comment section. Or this is just another example of politics gone wild. Folks, the world is complicated. We will keep talking about it. Stay blessed.